First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. There's our live shot of downtown Portland right there from the Shriners Cam. And yes, it's a little cloudy. It's August. I mean, I know that we need some precipitation and rain, but I gotta admit, I really enjoy summers. I really enjoy being outside as much as possible, even if it is raining. And we're gonna be talking about that today. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. We are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. Thanks for joining us. But if you watch the show regularly, you know, Thursdays, 1:30 p.m., generally every week, we are joined by this gentleman right here, Eric Goranson from Around the House Northwest. Eric, always good to have you here on the show, and especially with all the advice that you can give us. I know we're going to get a preview of this week's episode of Around the House Northwest, but this topic really hit home for me because I am somebody that wants to, even in the winter, even when it starts getting colder or it's rainier, I want to figure out ways to stay outside.
Thanks, brother. Always fun to be on here every single Thursday. So always a blast. And there's so many things you can do out there. Some of them are pretty cost effective. Some of them take a little bit more of an investment and might be a DIY project. But the first one is, you know, when you're out on that back patio, if you don't have cover, right, that can ruin the party for you out there. You're barbecuing in the rain. Maybe it's just, you know, that drizzle day and you're like, oh, this is no fun. So there's a lot of ways to just try to cover that a little bit to give yourself some shelter so you can enjoy that well into the winter.
Yeah, that's, I mean, anything to do that. I mean, as long as I'm not getting soaking wet, you know, I can handle a lot.
You know, and what works good is there's lots of different, you can jump on Amazon, for instance, and buy some of these sail covers. There's ones that let the water come through that are more shade sails, but there's other stuff out there that you can buy on a budget that's really designed more like your tent material that you would put up with some ropes and maybe a couple screws into the side of the house, going off to a couple poles. And now you've got something, if you put it on an angle, that'll at least keep you dry while you're outside having some fun. And you can get them pretty good size. Just the bigger they are, the more you have to tie them down.
Yeah, to make sure that they're not blowing around or pulling up anywhere, I would imagine, just making sure that that's good. But, you know, that sounds like a nice and easy option to get some dry space to hang out under.
It is. Some of the problems you run into, though, with those is that fabric can stretch a little bit. So be really careful of what you do when you get big. Sometimes what'll happen is that outside binding stays taut. But if you get rain and you don't have a big enough angle on it, it'll cool down in an area and that'll fill up and it'll balloon. You could get hail. It could rip it off the side of the house. So that's kind of the problems you can run into that with some of the more temporary solutions that heavy rain and hail sometimes can do damage and rip it off the side of the house.
So be aware of that if you're going to get into that. And
yeah, if you got something big, I mean, if it was like, let's say it's 10 by 10, that's probably about as big as I would get before you start really running into issues where that stuff can pool. And then you're going to want a really good angle on it so it doesn't have a chance to really catch anywhere. If you've got just a little bit, it will probably catch in front of that. And then it's just going to start pooling water there. The more water, the more it stretches, and the bigger balloon of water you have sitting there.
Yeah, and that can cause all kinds of issues. So paying attention to that, but that's a less expensive way to go about it.
Yeah. Now, another one is if you want to build a patio cover out there, at least here in the state of Washington, generally, and you always got to check code wherever you're living because it's not always the same. But basically here in Oregon, you can build a patio cover if you follow their plans for under 200 square feet. You can do it without a permit, which means you don't have to go through all the inspections. You just got to follow the plans from the state on that. And it's basically just attached to the house. They tell you how to build it. You can build it that way. And then you've got a permanent solution that you can put either roofing on or whatever. And, you know, it's a good DIY project for you if you follow the directions.
Yeah. And not having to get that permit. I mean, that's pretty great. If the instructions are already there, follow along, get it done. And you don't have to worry about all of that stuff. That's a good way to go about it.
Yeah. And yeah, it might cost you $1,500 or so in lumber. And depending what you put on the roof, and there's a lot of different things you can do up there. You can go down to your home improvement store, get the clear panels, the squiggly ones that you see. You could put metal roofing up there. You've got to have at least a 412 roof pitch. So it's got to be for every 12 inches, you got to have 4 inches of rise to put any kind of shingle material on it. And that's the other one. But there's a new product made by Palram out there. And this stuff is cool. It's called Sunscape. And so what you do is you put those ceiling joists that come down, which is the structure up above you. They're clear plexi panels, and they attach right where that 1.5 inch material is. So it looks like you have a clear glass ceiling in your patio. So you can get it in smoke, you can get it in clear, and you can look, and it looks like you're outside, but it still looks really cool. And it looks like you have a glass ceiling in your patio, and it's not too expensive of a material. And then you've got something really cool. You can put lights up in it and do stuff like that. And it's a really trick way that you could still see the stars if you're outside hanging out at night without looking at the underside of the roof.
I love that. That's great. So,
So a lot of lumber yards carry it. I'm getting ready to build one at my house here coming up with that material because I'm like, oh, that's cool. I want that clear look because where it's going, it's a little small area, but I want to be able to see the, see the sky through there because I've got a kind of a cool little peekaboo view right there that I don't want to lose, and that makes it where you're bringing kind of that outside in under that cover and still makes it a comfortable place to hang.
yeah, and extending that, the outdoor lifestyle, extending that out into the winter some more.
And
Great.
and there's so many other things you can do too. And now we're starting to get into a little bit bigger budget stuff. But now, of course, you can build that pergola out back. They make basically blind type kits where they have screens that come down that are motorized. So you could basically screen that whole thing off. And what those screens do is, one, they keep the bugs out, but they also knock the wind and the driving rain down as well. So you'll get the airflow through there. But if you got sideways rain coming, it mostly gets caught right there and doesn't come through that. So it's almost like a roll-up window screen where they're hidden until you hit the on button, they come down. And that's kind of a trick new thing you're seeing like at the Street of Dreams and the Parade of Homes now. You're seeing in those nicer homes some of those things that are really cool.
Yeah, those things are great. I've got a pergola in my backyard. I don't have one of those on there though, but man, some of those are pretty slick that they've got out there now.
And then, of course, you've got lighting, and lighting can be really easy. There's some great lights out there now that you can literally plug in right into an outlet. You hang them around. They're kind of the patio lights, but they're LED, and you've got colors that you can do. So you can have mood lighting. You can have them kind of an old yellow light, but if you want to go red and blue or purple and whatever, you can control whatever color on it you want, and you can control it with your phone. So you can turn them off, turn them on there. Just have to have an outlet to plug them in, and then you could put like 4 of those in, which you'd have to have a heck of a big backyard to put that many in there, but works out really cool. And you can just run it from the app. So you can have it turn on when you want, or if you want to turn them on when you're inside, you can just hit the off button and control it.
Really cool. So lots of options just to like change things up. And I love it if you can change the lighting too, because I mean, you decide like, you know what, we're gonna change the look of this for a while. And simple, easy way to do that.
Some great stuff. And that's just that mood lighting. And the last thing I want to talk about is heaters. There's so many great patio heaters out there now. We saw it a lot during COVID that you saw restaurants putting those in outside, and you can get electric ones, you can get propane ones, you can get the portable ones. There's a lot of different things you can get. You can get them at your home improvement store, you get them online. There's a lot of cool ones out there that are really efficient, and so they're not using a ton of like propane. And you can get some in different colors. Now, it used to be you kind of had the one, but now they've got flames in the side of them and different colors, whether it's matte black or polished stainless or brass or whatever you want. So you can really add some of that to decor and keep you and your friends nice and warm outside in those fall days.
Yeah. Again, it becomes kind of part of the decoration as well.
Exactly.
Well, some really good ideas there for everybody who wants to do that. I've dabbled in some of what you're talking about, and you just gave me some more ideas as well of things that I could be doing. So everybody feel free to share that. But I know, there's a new episode of Around the House Northwest coming up as well. And, we don't ever want to give everything away, but I don't know if you can give us maybe a couple of hints as to what's going to be on this week.
Yeah, this one's here perfect, kind of getting ready for, our fall and winter time here. We're going to talk about whole house power generation. So automatic stuff. So power goes out within 10 seconds. Your house is fully powered right back up, automatic. You don't have to do anything, and it's quietly running outside, and you've got the whole house running power. So you can be working from home, watching the game you're doing, whatever you got, everything in your house has power, and it's just an automatic solution for when that power goes out.
That's going to be really valuable. Everybody just take a second and remember the ice storms that came through.
Exactly.
Time to take care of that.
And then we've got a cool little fall DIY project, how to build your own professional style cornhole set with about 5-hour project you can knock out on a Saturday, maybe a parent and kids project, whatever, but build your own, decorate it how you want. And I'll show you how to do that as well.
Cool. And that's just 2 things coming up on this week's episode. And so lots and lots to check out with that. But for everybody who wants to watch it as it happens, what's the best way to do so?
You know, if you missed last week's episode, don't worry. You can catch that tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. on Fox 12 Plus. In this episode here we're talking about right now, 10 a.m. Fox 12 Plus for Around the House Northwest. And then it will re-air again on Sunday night at 6. So if there's a football game on, something that you don't want to watch, just tune over to Around the House. We got some new tips for you.
There it is. And you can check out all the clips as well at the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel or on the website. So plenty of places to go there and take a look at all this. And don't forget to share this episode too. So if you have that friend who likes hanging out outside, or maybe is looking for an outdoor project, send this over to them. And that way they can get some ideas on what to do. Well, Eric, as always, appreciate you being here on the show and all this advice that you always bring us. And yeah, man, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. Thanks so much. Always a good time.
And thanks everybody for watching. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. We appreciate you being here. We'll be back live at 2 p.m. So I will talk to you then. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.